There are two fjords in that area we'll talk about. We have some info on glaciers, volcanoes, and also wildlife. So this should be a nice overview of things. If you have any questions, please come see me. I'll just run after the show, put my computer away before they break down, and then come on up to the front of the stage. And throughout the cruise, please, if there's anything I can do to make your cruise more enjoyable, if you have any questions or just want to say hi or chat, I'm here alone. It's always wonderful meeting new people. I meet so many fantastic folks on each cruise. So please don't be shy. Come on up and say hello. Okay, so let's start here. First things first, what is a fjord anyway? It's been on my mind for decades, often torturing my every waking moment. That's from little Johnny B. Messersmith, age 5. He's off to a hard start. Hard introduction to life. So really, this is just a deep cut. It's almost like a hacksaw. We have sediment and ice, a glacier cutting through the land and cutting, in the case of Tracy Arm, more of a V-shaped fjord. And in the case of Endicott, we'll be traveling more of a U-shaped fjord, a little more gradual on either side. Opening toward the sea is called the mouth of the fjord. It's often shallow. Inner part is called the sea bottom. Just about 1,200 feet, I believe, on this one at its deepest. Tracy Arm, about 2,400 feet in depth. Most fjords are deeper than the adjacent sea. If the formation is wider than it is long, it's not a fjord. It's just a lowly bay or cove. Okay, so these are fjords in the U.S. Of course, most of them are situated in Alaska. We also have the Puget Sound fjord system in Washington. Those of you might be from that beautiful state. And New York, we've got the Hudson River Fjord as well, for those of you from that beautiful state. Now this is the area where we'll be traveling when we get to the Endicott Arm. So this is a Tracy Arm Ford's Terror Wilderness. That is not a typo. Ford's because there was a gentleman about 100 years ago in the Navy who took a little dinghy into this fjord and was trapped for about 10 paralyzing hours in there. Couldn't get out because of the strong currents. And then I think his buddies back at the barracks were nudging him a little bit and named it the Tracy Arm Ford's Terror because of his terror there. There's one thing to note about these fjords, also with the Golden Gate Bridge. I have a little sailboat now in Florida, but I used to sail in San Francisco. And you know, as the water passes through these funnels here, so going under the Golden Gate Bridge or into these tight fjords, the currents increase and can be extremely strong. It might be calm within the fjord, but the passageway into the fjord can be very dangerous. A knot is 1.15 miles per hour, so they're roughly the same. Sometimes there'll be currents under the Golden Gate Bridge. I often hit currents of 6-7 knots, so very strong. In fact, once I was coming out of Pier 39 there, which is shortly after where we left yesterday, about midway between where we left at Pier 27 and the Golden Gate Bridge. I was there for 45 minutes trying to go south to the Bay Bridge, which you probably saw as we left yesterday, the other bridge, links San Francisco with Oakland. 45 minutes later, I realized I was going nowhere. In fact, I was gently being pulled back under the Golden Gate and out into the Pacific because of the currents, stronger than the motor of my boat. So I quickly made a beeline back into the marina and wiped my brow because they can be quite strong. So same thing here coming into the fjords. He encountered very strong currents there and was trapped. Designated in 1980, this entire area, about 700,000 acres. This is a good little map of it. So we have Tracy Arm, so we have two fjords meeting right here. Tracy Arm coming up here, or curved, and Endicott, where we'll be traveling. How many people have been through the Endicott Arm before? Okay, still, I know Alaska is really a favorite for clear reasons. Such a beautiful trip. So we'll be coming in here, and a much straighter arm. There is Ford's Terror right here. That's off to your left. Now remember, pardon me for turning my back to you for a moment, but left is our port side. I remember there are 4 letters in left and port. So left is our port, right is starboard, and I'll also be using a clock system. So I'll be narrating through the fjord and one other time, I think, through another passage. Most of those announcements are only external, and there's certain times where I'm not allowed to broadcast as to not disturb the wildlife. But you can also listen to that on your television, apparently. There's a channel where you can also hear that. But while I'm in there, I'll also be using, straight ahead is 12 o'clock, the bow of the ship, and then I'll just use a clock system, just normal clock system. So you hear me refer to port side, starboard side, and also times on the clock so we can identify things. I'll be keeping my eyes open for whales and dolphins and other things as we go too. So we're going to be coming right through here, Endicott Arm. Ford's Terror is going to be off to our left there on the port side. And at the end is Dawes Glacier. Culminates right here, and we'll have a beautiful view. Now, of course, our ability to travel through it depends on the amount of ice flow. I used to think as the summer's warm here in Alaska, it would mean less ice, but of course, the reciprocal is true. It means more ice because we have greater calving or breaking off from the glacier, and therefore we have more icebergs, bergy bits floating through the arm. So we'll have to see how far we can get through. We usually situate ourselves right about here, and that affords a really great view of Dawes Glacier. And the captain, we've got a great captain and crew up there that's so nice to me and incredibly talented looking out for us. So they will situate the vessel on one side and then generally rotate it to one side and then the other. Which side first depends on the conditions there, but they'll rotate it so that everyone, if you're in a balcony room and just feel like huddling up in there for the day, you'll still get a great view at the end of the arm. Okay, here's Tracy Arm Fjord. So we've got two. This one is 45 miles, very close by, 32 miles long. Named after the inventor of the Norwegian Model T, Henry Fjord. Yeah, I know. They can't all be good. Secretary of the Navy, Benjamin Franklin Tracy. Pristine waterfalls, towering icebergs and cliffs that rise sea level up to 4,000 feet and is amazing indeed. Last 10,000 years, like almost all glaciers, not all, but almost all, the glacier's been in retreat. So there we have Twin Sawyer glaciers, South Sawyer being the largest, and also North Sawyer. Wildlife, we can only keep our fingers crossed. We have black and brown bears. Brown bear, same species as the grizzly bear. Grizzly is a little smaller, lives farther inland. So the brown bear a little larger because he can partake of all the salmon and yummy things in the streams and rivers there. Deer, mountain goats we'll sometimes see. How many people brought binoculars? Okay, well, they're a great tool. They're a great tool. They do sell them here on the ship and some of the ports as well, I think. But they're a real asset. You'll see mountain goats looking just like little white dots up on the cliff sides at the top. We'll sometimes harbor seals and different kinds of birds as well. Kittiwakes. Even if we don't see kittiwakes, I'll still just say kittiwake a lot because I like how it sounds. Also bald eagles, hopefully. So keep your eyes open at the tops of the trees there. Oh, there are the North and South Sawyer glaciers, and Endicott Arm with Dawes Glacier at the end. So this is 50 miles south of Juneau, just a little farther south, 30 miles long, and averaging just about a mile wide. So it really is amazing that way. You feel like you can reach out and touch it on either side. It's an amazing experience in that regard. Photographically, if you're a pro, keep those long lenses and wide angles ready. You'll use both. If you're shooting with your cell phone, try taking some wider angle views of things. Some little videos can be great, little 10-second videos to really bring in the breadth of things. And also zoom in because the textures, the repetition of the trees and the tonality of the hillsides, especially there's one time we go through a little curve there, I believe to our left or port side, and when those hills are juxtaposed like that, that's a beautiful shot as well. Named after William Crowninshield Endicott, served as U.S. Secretary of War under Grover Cleveland. Yeah, I guess right, about 12,042 feet. Again, waterfalls, Dawes Glacier at the end, and same types of wildlife. Sometimes we see a lot, sometimes not. We'll just have to keep our eyes open and hope for the best. And there she is at the end. So again, it's straighter so the hills don't obstruct it, so we'll get a really good view of that. Right at the entrance, just a few minutes after we enter, look up to your left, port side, on the hillside. So the other glaciers are tidewater glaciers, so they make contact with the ocean, and then bits of it break off into the sea. In this case, not. It's up on the hillside, but if you look to your left, port side, above, you'll see the Sundom Glacier up in the hills. They're really beautiful. And this used to, about 100 years ago, right about 1900, this used to be a little mining community as well that had up to about 150 people. Eventually broke up the colony there, but there was a little colony right down there just below the glacier itself. Named Sumdum after the sound that it makes, and also meaning loud noise in the Tlingit language.